We've just had some huge news from Warhammer Day, and I'm pretty excited about the release date for Warhammer The Old World. To cut this short, it's coming out in early 2024, and effectively the full launch range of the Brettonians have been revealed. So let me jump in and show you. I'm a little bit disappointed about one tiny thing, but overall I am actually probably happy. So yes, while the video plays, I will say that they did announce that the game is coming in early 2024. It was sort of rumoured to be the end of this year, but then more rumours came in and it sort of felt like it got delayed a little bit, and so that has been proven. Now, they just say early 2024, we don't have any real indication of when that is. However, in the stream, Eddie did say that this would be one of the first releases of 2024. I'm personally expecting anywhere between probably January and March. I would guess at February, but obviously I don't truly know. And of course we did get information about what was launching and some new models. This includes the Lord on Pegasus that we had sort of seen leaked, the Knights on Foot which we'd heard about but we hadn't seen, and we got a new wizard, basically the Handmaiden of the Lady. Sorceress is probably a better term, I guess. As well as information about what kits were coming back, including the fact that the Field Trebuchet is going to be in resin. So let's have a look at the article. Obviously I think I've just shown you the video. Depends what I did in the edit, maybe I didn't. The Lord on the Pegasus, obviously we saw some of this as it was sort of leaked. That was basically the actual Pegasus itself. I don't think we'd seen the rider. The rider looking pretty interesting. So this one, I believe, is the Duke. He's basically in charge of the entire army, I guess. He's the reason they're fighting. And he looks pretty interesting and very nice. Pretty classic. The mount looks good. He looks good. Very nice. And you can do him in a different variants. You can see there's a little bit of difference on the horse's head. You can see the rider here is actually different. This apparently is supposed to be the Baron instead of the Duke. And yeah, I like that as well. And then the other option that they give you is the fact that you can have it as a battle standard bearer. Again, a few differences to the mounts, although it may just have actually been painted a little bit different. All in all, I really like this model. I think it's pretty classic. I really like it. And then I'm going to jump to the Handmaiden of the Lady. Now, whilst I was streaming this, some people said they didn't really like her, some of her proportions or something like that. Personally, I think she fits in perfectly. I really like her. She's sort of plain, simple, but classic. I think it's very nice. I really like the turquoise on the cloak. Obviously, that's a paint job, not like a model. And I actually really like the colouring just overall. And yeah, I personally have no qualms with this. I think she looks rather nice. Now, the elephant in the room for me are the Knights of the Realm on foot. There's just something about these that I don't like, and I'm going to get a little bit more specific in a second. But there are two variants. You can have them with sword and shield, and it looks like there's obviously going to be like 10 in the box. And you can have them with grey axes as well, or as an option. And here you can see them a little bit closer up. Now, my personal main problem with this is simply I do not like the helms. They are very, very busy. Busy is the polite term. The worst term I would say about them is some of them simply look like clowns, and I really don't like them. Now, I like these models. Everything below probably about here on the head, I like. But the actual top of the helms, I just don't like it at all. Now, maybe it's just because Brettonians aren't necessarily one of my favourite armies or something like that. Maybe you will have a different opinion and you'll actually like them. It's also possible that you could maybe do some head swaps with other units. You could always knock out the 3D printer and print some different heads. There's a variety of different things that you could do. But for me, there's a couple of like standout ones that I just don't understand. I don't like them. There's one in the back here which sort of has like a sword or something to a miniature, or like a bull or something like that. Not really a huge fan of that one. Not really a fan of the damsel one, and I'm not really a fan of whatever the hell this is. It looks sort of like a bell. I'm confused. I don't like it. Now, I personally am not really a fan of some of the others. Generally like the antler ones and whatever. I don't know if this is a candle or whatever the hell it is. I don't mind the winged one, the eagle one, but, you know, it's not to my taste. So I know some of it's not to my taste, so I've got to be a little bit careful about it being subjective and objective and stuff like that. Subjectively, I don't like them. Objectively, you might do. However, I think most people, when I was streaming this, didn't like some of them, specifically the damsel one and whatever the hell this is. Some of them they did like. So maybe you'll be in that camp. Now, the image with the grey axes, I think they're a little bit different. I like a lot more of these helms, actually. The ones here at the front are a little bit more plain, and I have to say I think I prefer these. Depending on how many of those are in the box, it might be salvageable for my taste. Obviously, again, if you like them, you can do whatever you like. You know, it's your choice, it's your life. They're your miniatures, do what you want. But yeah, that's a big negative for me, that I don't like those helms. Everything else about the model, I really like. In fact, pretty much everything else that I've shown and they've spoke about, I really like. And we have some confirmation about what units are coming back. Now, they did say that pretty much everything here is what you're going to expect at launch. Might be an odd little extra thing or something. But when the old world returns, this is what the Brettonians are going to have. The returning Pegasus Knights are coming back, the plastic ones. Classic, look very nice. The Knights of the Realm are coming back. eBay sellers in shock. I mean, you should have seen this coming. I've got to say, I really like these helmets. If you put these helmets on the other ones, on the ones that are on foot, I think it would sort of make a bit more sense. But, you know, it is what it is. By the way, I'm aware that basically the lore is that the helmet is related to something that they did to become a knight. I still don't like it, by the way. It's just subjective. Don't worry. Like, it's my opinion. You can't argue with me. I'm allowed to be wrong if you think I'm wrong. And you're not wrong if you like them. Simple as that. The men-at-arms are also coming back. Very classic fantasy stuff here, in my opinion. And so are the peasant bowmen. Obviously, there are the other models that they had announced. The BSB, the paladin, and the BSB on the knight, as well as the Fey Enchantress. And then I think I mentioned this already. The field trebuchet has been reworked to be in resin. Some people don't like resin. I mean, resin as a material is interesting because everybody's like 3D printing as resin and nobody seems to care about that. But the minute you say something is GW resin, everybody's a little bit like, oh no, I don't know. Yeah, it might be a little bit overpriced and yeah, it might not be perfect quality, but resin itself I don't think is bad. I think I would rather this be in resin than the metal that it used to be, because it used to be heavy, clunky, and a little bit hard to put together. But, you know, it's up to you if you like it or not. Couple of little housekeeping items. They do confirm, as I said, that it will release in early 2024. That's huge. That's the big news, really. Everybody will be excited about that. There is going to be another stream, I think, from the community in November. I can't remember what event they're doing, but they're going to do another live stream. I strongly suspect that that's when we're going to get the Tomb Kings. They'll probably do the exact same thing for the Tomb Kings, effectively reveal all of the launch for the Tomb Kings, and maybe a little bit extra. What we should get, and I wish they would do this sooner rather than later, would be the base sizes and maybe start selling bases. I'm just going to keep harking on about that until they do it, because they should do it and they haven't done it yet. One interesting thing is that the official website is actually going to go live on Monday. I don't know if we're going to get extra little news with that. Maybe we will, because it says it'll have more information on lore and the landscapes. I mean, maybe not the two most interesting things depending on who you are, but you know, nonetheless, it's coming, so we'll be happy about it. So really, a big day. The fact that we know that the launch now is probably less than 6 months away, effectively, and probably more like 4 or 5, we can start getting ready. Again, I wish we had the base size, and again, I wish they started selling the bases properly. But you know what? I'm pretty overall happy with that. I like all of the reveals so far. I just have that personal hang up about those helmets, but there's ways around it. If you really like Brettonians and you don't like the helmets, there are ways around it. Unfortunately, or fortunately probably for my wallet, this might mean that I'm not going to get into the Brettonians. I might just crack on and actually sort out my Dark Elves. They've not won me over with the new stuff, really. They've not made me, you know, get the credit card out and pay. Now, the Tomb Kings, that might be a different matter. The wallet is ready to be milked. Games Workshop, you're just not doing it yet. You're not milking them properly. If you want to support my channel, I do have a Patreon. There is a link in the description. Other than that, I hope you have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.